Hey guys, I'm Ash, travel addict and owner of Adventure Travel Pro. In this series, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know and do when organising your first solo backpacking trip overseas. From overcoming fears, planning your trip, and choosing the right travel gear for you, to things like how do you stay safe and healthy while abroad, or how do you meet people and make friends, and also tips on how to budget effectively so you don't run out of money while you're overseas. It's all here. And I'm so looking forward to holding your hand throughout the entire journey of organising your trip end to end. Now, if you're a first-time solo traveller, you're in luck. I want to give you access to our free solo travel starter pack. This pack includes access to our 5-day solo travel bootcamp mini course and also our free solo travel checklist, where I outline the 10 crucial steps you should follow when organising your first backpacking trip. And it's all for free. Just sign up via the link below and we can get you started. Now let's jump straight into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ash, and today we're going to be diving into the various different styles and types of solo travel you can do when organising your first backpacking trip overseas. Volunteer projects are another great travel style for first-time solo backpackers. And the reason why it's so great is because, again, you can travel on your own, getting to and from, but you're not alone all the time. You know, you have people around you and they're like-minded people with similar values who are interested in giving back in the way that you want to. And it can be a really wholesome and heartwarming experience, feeling like you're making a positive difference and at the same time as being able to learn, explore and travel through a place. I love volunteering. I've done quite a few volunteer projects now, and I just feel like you learn so much, not only about the project you're doing, but about the place where you are and the culture, the food, and the best part. And but you get to meet people. I've made some long-life friends from some of the volunteer projects that I have done. And yeah, I just feel like you make memories that it truly does last a lifetime. It also makes you more aware. You know, I did my first volunteering project that I did was in Thailand, and it was in Chiang Mai. And it was a elephant conservation project. And this is probably about maybe 10 years ago, or maybe a bit less than 10 years ago, but probably something like that. And back then they were the only one. You know, they were this incredible, like her name is Lex Charlotte, I think, or Lex Charlet, something like that. But she started this amazing charity where they rescue mistreated elephants from the entertainment industry and from other areas of Thailand that have been mistreated. And they pretty much, their mission is to just give them a beautiful life, you know, bring them to this sanctuary and look after them and just show them what a good life can be. And it's such a heartwarming experience. And yeah, I did it with a friend, and I just remember we just met so many amazing people, and I learned about that industry, you know, the elephant entertainment industry and the elephant riding and how they literally, it's honestly awful, guys, but the way they beat these elephants and treat them, so they practically surrender to then be able to be taught tricks, and it is honestly the most horrific industry. And yeah, but it was great because I learned about it. It made me never ever want to do anything like never support that type of animal entertainment industry ever. And also I felt like I was doing good. You know, I felt like I was giving these elephants an amazing life and helping to contribute to that by feeding them, washing them, just, you know, cutting up their food and cleaning enclosures, which wasn't very glamorous, but chopping down like bamboo bamboo or some kind of grass with machetes and making for their food and bedding and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's not easy. You know, some volunteer projects can be, they're actually like, you actually have to do work. That's the whole point of it, you know, is you're actually lending your skill set or lending your strength or your knowledge or your time to actually try and help these charities and help these projects make a positive difference. It's not always just sunshine and rainbows in terms of, oh yay, I'm a volunteer, I'm going to take photos and stuff. Like you need to do the work as well. So benefits of volunteer project, benefits of joining a volunteer project. I'll run through a couple with you, but I think I've already kind of touched on most of them anyway. But there's the meaningful element. So you actually feel like you're making a difference and having a positive impact. You can contribute to something that's important to you and that is important to your values. And there's nothing quite like that when you feel like you're contributing to the world in a way where it's it's to something positive that's bigger than yourself. And yeah, you just leave feeling so wholesome and warm and grateful as well for what you have back home. The other part is cultural immersion. So with the culture, because a lot of your volunteer projects, they're not located in your real touristy destinations. Often they're a little bit more remote, might be in your smaller towns or in the middle of nowhere. And so you do get that full cultural immersion into that country that you're visiting and really actually see the reality and how the locals really live and how the environment really is. Because sometimes when you only stay in the touristy areas, you really only see the polished elements of a country or really just the westernized versions of the country, not the real raw culture there. Cool. So something else, these two I think are really great. So there's personal development and also skill development. And I think these are great because when you're doing volunteer projects, you're often doing things that you wouldn't normally do back home. So you might learn, like for me, how the hell to chop down bamboo with a machete. Like I've never done anything like that. I've never even touched a machete. So you get to kind of develop your skills in a unique way. Even I did another, my most recent volunteer project that I did was in Raja Ampat in Indonesia. And I did a scuba diving experience there. So for those who don't know me very well, I love scuba diving. I'm now an advanced open water diver, and yeah, I love scuba diving. But what this volunteer project involved was actually, what do they call it? Surveying a area for different types of marine life and actually counting, how many of a certain species you found within that area, identifying different types of fish and recording that down. We also looked at for manta rays. And so we learned how if a manta ray, how to actually identify a manta ray, and you take photos of their underbelly and then send that off to the government so they can actually track how that species is going. And they're wanting to protect that population. So just checking constantly that the ones that have been identified are still around and are still okay. So I've never even realized people really did that. So learning about that and the great initiatives that the government are doing and some of those local charities is awesome. So it's great to be a part of that as well. So you definitely learn some unique skills when you volunteer, and you also develop so much in your own self, because I think gratitude is a really big part of it. You get exposed and you get to see how other people live and learn about some of the less glamorous things that happen in certain countries, or the lifestyles that people have. And what I do find is sometimes it makes you so grateful for the things that you have back home and some of the luxuries that you have that other people would dream of having, and we just take it so for granted. So you not only develop from a skill perspective, but also just your own personal development and growth and appreciation and stepping outside of your comfort zone and being more resilient and adaptable. And it can be such a transformative experience as well. Another thing that I love about volunteer projects is that it can be a really cost-effective option for traveling. So, if you just want to do a quick 1 to 2 week stint somewhere, or maybe even a 3-week, 4-week stint, sometimes it can be a great way where if you just do a couple of weeks with a volunteer project, typically your food, like all your meals for the day, your accommodation, a couple of other bits and pieces are all included in the cost of the volunteer project. And so it can be a great way to actually have all of that covered for you while doing the project. And then often on the weekends, you get free time to just do whatever you want to do. So if your project is located in a cool location where it's not far from a lot of attractions or cool sites that you want to visit, you can use your time off on the weekends to actually travel there and do tours and do some of those activities that you would be doing even if you weren't doing a volunteer project. Something else as well is that's probably another part of it, that like group tours or like the G Adventure tours that I've done before, they have that structure of where during the week, you've got your schedule in terms of what you're doing for your volunteering, whether it's teaching or animal conservation or whatever it could be. But then you've got that flex in there. So you've got that flex on the weekend to do what you want to do, to just chill out, read a book if that's what you're interested in, or look at photos. You get that free time. So it's not go, 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 go all the time, which is really, really good. Another one as well is that you get to sometimes learn the local language. So another volunteer project I did was actually in Tanzania in Africa. And we, as part of that project, we actually got to learn a bit of that local language, which is called Swahili. So I got to learn a couple of Swahili phrases, which was great as I was like riding my bike through the community or walking. And, you go past these little village towns and you'd be able to sort of say like, hi, like, how are you? Or thank you, and little greetings that just make you feel more immersed in the culture, and it makes you really feel like you're a part of the local people. So if you're interested in wanting to learn a bit of the local language and kind of really immerse yourself into that culture, the volunteer projects can be great because it's a really cool way that you can actually easily learn or ask, someone to teach you some phrases in the local language while you're there, and practice away in your free time. Another thing with the volunteer projects is I think you just get an all-round more authentic experience. You get to really see the country as it is and the parts that typical tourists won't see. And also as well, you get that emotional reward and that feeling of being able to actually contribute to something important. I think the other piece with volunteer projects is like, it's like the tours. There's so much choice these days in what you can do. Like, for example, for me, I've done English teaching. I've done both English teaching with kids in primary school. I've also done English teaching in Poland, where I was working with people who they actually are really successful in the business space, but they're trying to learn English so they can advance their careers more effectively and, I guess, have a more diverse working relationship. And I've also done animal conservation. I did that both with animals in South Africa and also with Thailand, and then also as well with that Raja Ampat scuba diving experience. So, but there's so much you can do. Like, it's not even just animal conservation education. There is so many projects nowadays that you can do, which it's really incredible. It's just such a growing space. So really, depending on what your interests are, you can go anywhere in that space. The other part is that emotional reward, and that's that unique satisfaction that you get from actually helping people and feeling like you're making a difference. And I think that's what makes volunteer projects stand out so much more to me than just doing sometimes standard group tours or traveling to a place on your own. Like, you really get to engage with the community, understand their culture, understand local issues, and see the impact of your work firsthand and feeling like you're a part of something bigger than yourself. So yeah, definitely a more authentic and fulfilling experience, I feel. Cool. So some of the top companies and websites that you can check out that offer different volunteer projects. Some of the ones that I love are Volunteer World. You've also got Global Work and Travel. And these ones are great because they showcase a whole range of different volunteer projects, from English teaching and education to animal conservation and all of the above. There is so many different types of projects that you can do abroad, and yeah, they're a really great place to start. So I'll definitely link them both below so you can check out their websites. Workaway as well is one that tends to be a little bit better for longer stay. So if you're wanting to say, like you're trying to travel on a budget for a longer period of time, workaways can be good because you typically stay with a host family and you might be helping them with certain activities, whether it be like farm work or, you know, it's usually return for something. So it's like your work in return for accommodation. I know in Australia, farm work's really popular, or like working at orchards or working in, that kind of, what do you call it, like agriculture industry. Abroad, it can be a whole range of things. But yeah, typically it's like you'll exchange a few hours a day of your time doing work in exchange for accommodation and food. So really great for cultural exchange, but also budget friendly travel if that's something that you're interested in. Another one similar to that is WWOOF. So no, not woof like a dog, it's WWOOF, and it stands for Worldwide Opportunities on an Organic Farm. And so that's kind of similar with what I talked about with Workaway, where you will work on a farm and then you get a farm anywhere in the world, and then you get that cultural exchange or the food exchange or the accommodation exchange for your time. So yeah, it's kind of interesting and good for people if you're wanting to just kind of get out in nature and have an environmentally sort of friendly experience. I really hope that you found this video useful and helpful and educational. And if you did, please don't forget to thumbs up the video below, and you can also subscribe to our channel where we'll teach you all different types of tips and advice and tricks when organizing your first backpacking trip overseas. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful. And don't forget, if you want to gain access to our free solo travel starter pack, which includes our 5-day solo travel bootcamp mini course and our 10-step solo travel checklist, simply go to our website via the link below and sign up today. That's it for today's video. I hope to see you tomorrow, where we'll dive even deeper into the world of solo travel. I look so forward to sharing all my latest tips and tricks to help you with organizing your first solo backpacking trip overseas confidently and safely.